It's Podular. Welcome back, everybody, for episode 42. It is Thursday, August 14th, and we are here to get you prepped for some MidweSTS9, baby. It's been a long time. We've got a few cities to dive into the STS9 time capsule, namely St. Louis, baby. The great city of St. Louis. We got some fun clips to play in reference to the band's history with String Cheese Incident, and then finishing things off with some Grand Rapids clips. Now we've got some band announcements, new studio music to talk to about before that. So, without further ado, bring in my trusty co-host, Mr. Scotty Fuller. How you feeling today?
MidweSTS9. I like that. Coming in hot, partner. Coming in hot. I'm
Let's
doing
fucking
good, man.
go.
I'm a little sad that St. Louis isn't in the cards. Yeah, you and I
But it is the cards. It's all about the cards. Go cards, baby.
no, get the fuck out of here with that. No, it's not all about the cards. What a stupid thing to say. I do
Hey,
not co-sign.
as a White Sox fan, we get along with Cardinals fans because we can both agree, fuck the Chicago Cubs. That's what we can both agree
I
on.
mean,
So
that's all well and good, but as I have proudly worn on my head for every single one of these episodes, the Braves do not play nice with the Cardinals, or rather, the Cardinals don't play nice with the Braves. Let's be real.
that's fair. That's fair.
Um, and so it's fuck the Cardinals, but it's all the love in the world to St. Louis. Excited to get into to these shows beforehand, but before we even get into that, brother,
Mhm.
we've got a single drop, and we've got an old LD sighting with the new camp.
Yes, we'll get
Let's
into that. Let's talk the band first here,
Cool.
right? Um, that is some super exciting news that I'm really excited to chop it up with you about. But obviously, the studio release of Shaky Ground, um, which I thought was preceded in a really cool way with some like really cool old school like were these movie clips or like
I think
did
I
you
think
recognize this footage?
I
Like,
didn't recognize it, and I don't have the thread in front of me, but if my memory serves me well enough, I read someone say something about a movie called Hackers from the
okay,
90s.
yeah.
Never seen it, could be getting that wrong, but I think I read that a couple of days ago when they dropped the kind of preview for this song. And I have not checked YouTube. I do not know if there's like a full length kind of video coming with this, but as of right now, it has dropped on Bandcamp. Uh, Hours before we recorded this, we listened to it right before we started,
Hmm.
pretty much what we've been getting throughout this song's existence, going back to Red Rocks, with a slight change. The sample that was, which is the original song sample. We found it on the first episode of this, and I'm forgetting who it was off the top of my head, but that sample has been replaced with what sounds like a studio interpolation of some artist. Same lyrics and
Hmm.
everything, just a little bit of a different sound. Nate, what are your first impressions?
First impression, I mean, this track's a banger. It's been a favorite of this podcast, and other than sometimes it's placement in a set sometimes, but it's a lot of fun. Going back to kind of the videos it was dropped with, I think it's like it just reminds me of like a 90s rave, right? So I think it was
Yep.
like very on point with that. One thing we got to shout out the artwork, which I'm assuming everything we're seeing out of this is the same artistic collaboration between Taylor Houston Morgan and Hunter Brown. This artwork I think is the coolest one so far. It depicts exactly how this song sounds, in my opinion. You just see like
Mm-hmm.
a beacon of light from the heavens with some kind of like energy strike onto the ground into a valley with just creating just a huge crack in the planet's crust of whatever planet we're looking at here. Really, really cool. Slap
Yeah.
this on a shirt, and I will be buying it for sure. Um, the thing I noticed is the Hunter Brown like fretwork, like the shotgun cocks almost, like the
Mhm.
like a lot more of that
Yeah.
was really cool to hear. And it seems like that Hunter Brown guitar line is kind of like that I a few months ago they started throwing it in there a little bit more, as opposed to just like kind of like a madness modular jam that you've heard, is here to stay and is kind of finding its way into the actual core of the song, which obviously this being the studio release, we can assume like kind of the final form in terms of just what it's going to sound like on a recording. But I think you had mentioned that this song kind of being the first of its kind.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, as far as
yeah.
we've been getting modulars in some form or fashion since 2015. That's nothing new. However, they've kind of stayed away from them in terms of studio releases. And I've said on this podcast before that Shaky Ground is arguably kind of the first named modular. The pretty much from start to finish, you're in that world that they take you to two or three or four times a show if you're lucky. And this is kind of the first taste in studio release form that they've given, and I think it's a cool offering. I think it'll show a different side of STS9 to people that this would just pop up for them in an algorithm on
Hmm.
a streaming platform.
Yep.
I think their presence has been missed from streaming platforms in this age that we're in, like it or hate it. And I think this is a good one to have out there for random people that have never heard of this band to discover.
Certainly, I think it'll turn some heads on Apple Music or Spotify or whatever it is. So excited that drop should be happening on Friday for anybody not subscribed to Bandcamp. But if you're not subscribed to Bandcamp, subscribe to Bandcamp. What are you doing? Get
Yeah,
on Bandcamp. Get on there.
come on.
Um, Cool. So before we get into preparing for this weekend shows, uh, some just incredible news,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The man, the myth, the legend, the goat of LDs, in my opinion, and Chris Carota would tell you the same. Saxon motherfucking Waller is back at the helm, with a new project here in Billy Strings, right? When I had heard whispers of this a couple weeks ago, I my hair stood up on end thinking of Saxon Waller being back, right? He's been missing and we've missed him so much. Not just being back, but with an exciting project with a budget like Billy Strings, getting to play in
Talk about
venues
it.
like Billy Strings. Like we're gonna get Arena Saxon Waller. Are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
yeah.
And he had his first shows with Billy Strings. I think it was Milwaukee and Minnesota this past weekend, and man, turning some heads. While you share your reactions, Scotty, I'm gonna just go through some of the content that's up in the internet. But your thoughts?
I mean, how do you have a problem with this? I mean, I know that the overlap isn't. I mean, let's fucking go, dude. I mean, come on, bro. Like,
What
ugh.
the heck, dude? Oh my God. Um, to anyone listening, Scotty, maybe I should have waited to play these to get for you to get your words in. But we're sharing some Instagram footage of the shows over the weekend, pretty much straight back from front of house. How
This
many
is this
fucking
is
lights are
fucking
on this?
feral animal shit, dude. Listen, listen. The we all yeah, dude, you don't we are huge Billy Strings fans over here. I
Mhm.
know
Yeah,
that certain
I'm a bigger
people
fan of Billy Strings than I am a fan of bluegrass. I'll tell you that. Not a
well
bluegrass
and
man,
well
but
and
yeah.
that's there's a couple of bands, right, that kind of blur that line, whether it's Green Sky or Billy, where they can take you to places where you're like, "Oh yeah, there's not a drummer on stage right now. I forgot." Because it feels like there's a fifth member on that stage right now. Like there's some bands that can take you there, right? nobody is debating what or who Billy Strings is in this day and age. I mean, I had this thought about him one time that this man has played his type of music in bigger rooms than that music has ever been played in its existence.
True, true.
And
He's taking
and
bluegrass to new heights for sure.
and
Yes.
he blurs that line so well, and he's so well versed in I mean, this guy has played with Tool, this guy has played with Les Claypool, this guy has played with Widespread Panic. Like, he's so well rounded
Played with
and
that Wharf Rat with the great
with
or with
Dead
Dead
and
and Company.
Company.
That was
Like,
insane. That was
ugh,
really
come
cool.
on, dude. Like, this
Played with
guy
Fish. He's played an entire
it,
set with Fish,
this
like
guy
yeah.
might go on to be the best ever. And so there's no limit to the size of rooms that he is going to play. And so we return to our old friend Saxton Waller. Eh, Can you imagine what this is going to look like in a year? Like
Yeah, these are his first shows. Are you kidding me? And it looks like this.
Billy fans have no idea what they just got. And the
I'm gonna play devil's advocate to that because looking through different comments of certain things, like when obviously
oh,
Billy's got a lot of fans and a big fan base, right? And
sure.
the loyal fan base is very strong. But with the bigger act like that comes more casual fans, and especially bluegrass fans who might not be as worried about or in tune to a light show as a band like Fish or STS9 or the Disco Biscuits, where it's so important, right?
Hmm.
I'll just stop it right here on this Roy G. Biv look to end this out. But you wouldn't think that a bluegrass band getting a new light designer would warrant for as much notice and conversation as any other bands. But going through the first few comments I saw, like people who definitely didn't know about this or definitely didn't know who Saxon is, there's so many comments being like, "Yo, whoa, what is going on with the lights right now?" Right?
Hmm.
Like his that is how good he is. That he's just like a Hunter Brown, where you can hear him and you know who that is exactly. He's just like a
Yeah.
Trey Anastasio where you can hear him and you know who that is exactly. He's just like a Billy Strings where you hear him and you know who that is. His distinct identity, right? And it's head and shoulders above so many other people. So to see him back is so cool. He had made his post where it had been 9 years since he had operated a light show. We know that he was doing quite a bit of designing in Tiberius's initial years, or initial few like handful of shows. I think the last show that he had actually operated on was one of Odeza's tours. Um, Before he had finished up with STS9 at the end of 2016. But I mean, this is what's going to get me to a Billy show. I'll tell you that much.
Sure.
Not just on
Sure.
accident, right? Next time he comes to Chicago, I will be there. I will be
Right.
there. And I might be there with the shirt that says here for the light show or something like that. But it's going to be a damn good time. And like you said, if this is what things are looking like in the first few shows, man, I mean, what a great fit because I think he's been
Yeah.
waiting. I don't think he's been done with touring or operating, but he's been waiting for the right opportunity to come along, and everybody seems psyched about it. And like you said, Billy Strings fans, just hold on to every moment because
Yeah, dude.
I
It's only up from here.
I think I had an idea of how good we had it when we had him, but I still don't think I truly appreciated it enough, right? To see this man do his thing and to see him unfurl new art is super exciting. So,
Yeah.
fuck yeah, Saxon.
Welcome back,
Congrats.
Saxton. We're fucking
Welcome
pumped that you're
back.
here.
Yep. Um, but back to Midwest DS9, baby. Let's fucking go. These fucking multi-show runs through Missouri, Wisconsin, Michigan. Obviously, we're getting to Chicago at the end of the year. Have brought out some really, really good live moments throughout the band's long history. And up until this point, here, Scotty, let me get the exact number here. It has been 8 years, 4 months, and 2 days since STS9 last played in St. Louis, Missouri. That's a war crime, dude.
That's pretty nuts. I had no idea. You know, in your head, that's one of those cities where, you know, they have no connection there, but every time they go there, you're like, whoa, what
Yep.
were they on tonight, you know? And so it
Yeah.
feels like a city that should get more love, but 8 years, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, and it's kind of shaping up to like give you what we're looking at this year. We're like, hey, we saw their return to Portland and Seattle after so long, right? We're seeing their return to St. Louis and Grand Rapids after a really long time. I think it's been about the same amount of time since they played in Grand Rapids, right? So it's kind of giving this year shape as to when you look back on the shows that they played in 2025, that I think one of the things that you'll have to say is like, hey, they went back to a few places that have been hurting for some STS9, right?
Yeah.
So obviously we're going to start things off on Friday at the Atomic. Looks like it's going to be an outdoor show. Um, with pretty much an evening with, but it looks like there's going to be some artists
Yeah.
playing inside the venue. But before we get to that, let's talk about the opening clip, right? Scotty, that Enceladus premiere from April 13th, 2017 at the pageant in St. Louis. It's the only clip we'll play from this show. But again, just looking back at this kind of shit, dude. Like you said, you look at these shows and you listen back to them, and you're like, what the hell were they on tonight? Like,
Hmm.
um, so set one, Havana Ascent into Ramon opener. Can't
Like,
draw it up much better than that.
thank you. Have a good night.
Yep. To the world, into Nautilus, into Kamwai.
Again, like, yeah. Was this
Mm-hmm.
like, what was this, a Tuesday night? Like, what?
I think it was a Thursday. Yeah. Kamwai. That Kamwai, it gets super gritty, super cool for Kamwai. F word into one a day. Again, what are we doing here? World go around first set ender, which is exactly the best slot for that song. We've talked
Yes.
about it. Chef's Kiss with that first set.
Uh-huh.
Set two,
Not to be outdone.
yeah, a 12 plus minute shock doctrine. Then a worry no more into today.
Hold on, an
What?
11-minute worry no more into today. Like,
Into today? Yeah. And then this monster of a four song segment, March into Out of This World, into Enceladus, which is the premiere of Enceladus, into Freak 2-3. Um, you talk about a way to a premiere a song, and I just wanted to talk about like the premiere of that. Like, I miss like that. It sounds a lot different than what Enceladus currently sounds like, and even what Enceladus sounded like three versions down the road from this one, right? Um,
I,
so this is a
I
really
think
cool one to look back on. But yeah,
I
your
think I
thoughts
think
on
it'd
that
be
opening clip?
I think it would be really cool one day to do in some downtime when we don't have as many shows and interviews. Really cool interviews lined up. To do an episode of first, to find the first version of each song played live
Hmm.
and just run through them because they're typically pretty short and they typically don't sound anything like what the song ends up turning out to be. Um,
Hmm.
F word is a good example of that, but I'm sure we could find more if we dug. Anyway, I did not realize that this was the first Enceladus until you said it.
Hmm.
But just a very primal version.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say totally type B to what it ends up being, but you know, I can't imagine being here because this hadn't released as a single when this came out, or had it?
No, no, it was the fall.
It happened around Artifact time,
The
right?
2017 fall tour was the Enceladus tour, and they had
Yeah.
released Enceladus as a single. I think it's on vinyl actually too. Um, But yeah, I mean, then you finish off the second set with a Glowgly and then a 15-minute Kabuki encore.
Hmm.
Pretty sick. Pretty sick. Um, but getting back to this weekend shows, I think there's a lot to be excited about. It's the Asheville shows were cool and everything to have the whole artifact centric and human dream centric, and it seems like we're just getting into some just full on Sector 9 for this
Hmm.
weekend, which is really cool. But Yeah, I haven't been to this venue. Obviously, most of the shows that have happened in St. Louis have been at the pageant, which is, I think, which is one of those perfect places to see STS9. But it'll be cool to get some outdoor STS9. Sounds like there's some house music going on in the indoor venue as well during it, with House of Tucci and Night Chaser. Not familiar. Sounds like it'll be some house music. But always good to get some summer outdoor STS9, as this will be my first show since Nashville. And
Yeah.
almost 4 months is too fucking long for me, Scotty. I'm starting to get antsy here. So,
Yeah, tell me
um,
about it. Red Rocks of last, no, sorry, Atlanta this in February, but
right.
still. One note about this event, kind of a, I guess, a weekend long thing. I hadn't seen it build that way until today. But some other really cool acts if you're not making the run with STS9 this weekend on Thursday. You got Yeti and the Specials, Joint Project, Lemanoid.
I didn't
Both
even know that was a thing.
Oh, dude, that both of that shit is probably really cool.
Yo, I would assume. I fucking
They're
love the special. Yeah.
they're touring it a lot this summer. They're doing it at Mishawaka. It seems really fucking cool. I forgive me if it's come out and I don't know, but I remember hearing about it late last year and thinking, I bet that's gonna be cool.
Hmm.
And then you got STS9 headlining on Friday, and it says with House of Tucci and Night Chaser. We got a little bit of clarification for that, and like you said, that seems to be kind of like a multiple room thing. STS9,
Yeah, it's the outdoor stage is going to be more of an evening with STS9,
right?
which we love that, right?
Yeah.
But
And then Aaron Cam and the One Drops on Saturday, who I'm not familiar with, but I bet it's a good time.
nice little weekend of music in St. Louis for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, excited to check out the venue. Seems like it's kind of nestled right downtown with a bunch of restaurants and bars and stuff like that right around it. So come say what's up. I'm the big doofus with the long hair, so won't be hard to find. But with these prep episodes, obviously we like to dive into the time capsule of STS9 with these certain cities. And we got three interesting time capsules we're going to get into here, Scotty. We're going to start in St. Louis, and there is a certain show from a certain night in a certain city. It's the Mike Ditka of fucking like Midwest mid tour shows here. It was a sleeper, right? So we're going back to 2016 winter tour, and mind you, this is pre TUI 2016, right? Um, the band
Uh,
was firing on all
a
cylinders.
sweet spot in STS9 history, if you're not
Yes,
familiar.
where
From
it's still
Denver,
2015, but they're just still even getting better.
yeah,
Like, yeah.
from Denver to the tour closers in Chicago, a blackout week of just lawless behavior that we should dive into as a capsule one day, because god damn,
Yeah,
dude, that
just
is
that
some
whole
good
tour.
STS9. That
Yes.
section, that week from Denver through Chicago, which is this show that we're talking about right here, is dead center in the middle of that.
Yep. So they started this run. Um, did they have a Lawrence show right on Wednesday? Lawrence,
Yes.
then Canopy
Another
Club.
sleeper of a city to see STS9 if you ever have
Yep.
the opportunity.
Then Canopy Club, which is the venue I bit a lot of my teeth on in Urbana, which is right by University of Illinois. So I started there. Me and Matt Voss and Emily did all the shows, and we were traveling together and everything like that. So that Canopy Club show is not one to be slept on either. But no one was really expecting this Friday show to be what it was, and there was a little bit of a crew mishap, right? It got announced right before the Canopy Club show that Saxon had to, who was at the helm at the time, uh, had some family matters to attend to, and Greg Ellis would be filling in. So that's another really cool ripple to this show that we've discussed before. But aside from the lights and the tour and everything like that, some outstanding musical moments from this show. And we'll break down the full set list, but we've got a couple of clips to get into to start off our music.
Okay, Mr. Ellis.
God, dude.
I mean, we could have had worse people fill in for those shows.
Insane visual work by Greg Ellis. First of all, I think first of all, this was the first Black Satin in the wild, so to speak. Right? They had played it at 1/115, and
Mhm.
it kind of seemed like that might be kind of a one-off thing. And now look at us, 5 or 10 and a half years later, and where
Yeah.
Black Satin has gone now. Um, Being at the show, someone had leaked what they had heard being sound checked, and it was this. And I was super mad. I was like, okay, you could have told me anything that they were sound checking, right?
Yeah.
But if it's Black Satin and they haven't played that, and we thought that was a one-off from 1/115, right? Little bit pissed off about that,
No, no, no,
right?
no, man. Hold on, hold on. If you do that, go fuck yourself. No, dude, no, dude. Like, no. I hate this. I hate when people do
Good,
this.
good.
If you go to a sound check, shut the fuck up about
Okay.
whatever was
I
done.
thought you were saying you hated what I did. Okay, okay.
No, dude, I
My feelings about
hate
it.
this, dude. I
Yeah,
this is
PSA, a PSA. If you hear sound
foul,
check,
dude.
yeah. Hmm.
Foul. Stop it. Nobody wants to know. And the few people that want to know, if they're your friends and they want to know, tell them word to mouth. Like
Yeah, or ask them first like ask for consent, right?
I had this done to me at Belly Up before they busted out Peace Blaster.
Oh my
And
God. Thank you for not
I
telling me because I
I
was
was
with you the
yeah,
whole time.
it was the night your mom came, so you were actually a little bit behind me on the last night.
Okay.
And but he said it to me like second song in, and I was like, "What the
What?
fuck, dude?"
During the show?
During the show.
I have a guess
I
as to who that was.
No, I was just some random guy.
Okay, okay.
I had to deal with him all night, but that I hate that behavior, dude. I hate that you knew that this was coming because man, the feeling of hearing it in real time, I envy it so much.
Well, here's one thing that I wanted to kind of bring it all home with is that I forgot that very quickly
Okay.
with how this show panned out, right? So you get as proper as it gets with the Be Nice opener, right?
Yeah.
Blue Mood, fantastic Blue Mood here. Poseidon, which went 11 plus minutes. And then
That
this,
Poseidon is really fucking good,
yeah, that
dude.
Poseidon is up there for sure. This Black Satin, which for it being the first one in the wild, I don't know if you can really find a tighter one as tight with as much like angst and like anger and like emotion behind it, right?
Hmm.
Like Hunter sounds like a fucking jaguar, dude. Um, and then you get into the real fuckery. The first Golden Gato. Okay. So this Golden Gate hits, right? And you're hit with those first five songs and I'm a few Budweisers deep, trying out the local fair in St. Louis, as one does.
The
So
local fair.
I had an Anheuser-Busch for sure. Maybe six. But they start Golden Gate, and I'm like, okay, cool. This is my. I can head to the bathroom. I turn around, and then you hear that. Okay, now what the fuck do you want? And I've never turned a harder 360. I damn near busted my fucking Achilles. I was like, wait, what the fuck is going on? And they start hitting you with the other arigato samples, and that first Golden Gato is birth, and man, like the energy in that room of people being like, "Holy, that's incredible, fucking idea!" Right? Then
Hmm.
they don't stop there. We played it on the show actually with Taylor Houston Morgan, who he'll be in St. Louis as well. Excited to see him. It's Golden Gate into Arigato into Call Jam into Tap In. That section is just Dirt Snacks STS9.
Hmm.
And if you've listened to that episode, we know we played a pretty long clip from that because it's tough to make that clip any less than 8 or 9 minutes. And then yeah, a casual, evasive, and a new for you to end set one, bro.
Just to inset one.
At this
Like,
point,
go
I'm
home.
I'm staying. I'm quitting my fucking job after this.
You have to kick me out this bitch tonight.
Right. New for you. That had not been played in a long time before that either.
Is that Alana's first Nunu?
It is for sure. So it had been
A lot of
years.
firsts. A lot of
Yep.
firsts in this one.
Set two, another proper set starter with the You Don't Say, and then a wonderful breathe in into Click Lang Echo. And Breathe In is a special song for our friend who I'll get to see this weekend as well, Brad Younghouse, in memory of one of his friends who's passed away. It was their favorite song. And anytime he hears it in the home city of St. Louis, where he's from, a lot of emotions come out. And
That's
there's a lot of,
that's Mark Frazier.
yep.
That's one of my best buds as well.
Hmm.
Wow, fuck, Nate. I didn't
Yeah.
expect you to bring Mark up. Yeah, dude. I'm cheering for a breathe in St. Louis tomorrow. I hadn't even thought about that before then. But yeah, Mark Frazier, dude, just one of a kind, one of the best ever.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
cheering for
I
a
think
breathe
I've
in,
told
man.
you before, someone gifted Brad a vinyl with that particular breathe in on it. And keep the tears flowing into Click Lang Echo. You talk about
Yeah,
emotions
yeah.
there. And then
I think Mark
into
was there. I think Mark was at this one. I don't know that for sure, but he was definitely still alive and amazing at this point.
okay, good. I'm gonna appreciate you providing some color behind that. And I knew I was
Yeah.
getting something wrong. Into reemergence, and then into our next clip and our final clip from the St. Louis time capsule here, which we didn't have to go very far. We just stayed in one show. For
Yeah.
St. Louis wrap up here. That's how good this shit is. So we'll get into it. Get the fucking shovels out.
Oh. God, Alana's waking the dead.
Dude, this freak has dad noises. Oh, yeah.
Kidding me? Oh.
Good God. Okay. All right. Greg Ellis couldn't have all the fun. He missed that cue pretty hard there, but
I
that was
mean,
the thing. That was the only thing that was in the Perfect Light Show about this night is that like, hey, obviously someone who's jumping into for a band that has very specific audio cues for the visuals. Like, good God, dude. Burning retinas out here. Set up the IV, put that shit in my veins.
Dude, that that frequencies goes almost every that like put that in front of a new fan. We
Yeah,
are this kind of reoccurring theme. You forget what you're listening to very quickly in moments like that. To the point where I even chuckled in real time while we were listening to this clip when that frequencies cue started coming back. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. That's where we
right.
are.
Where are we?
Right. Lost in the fucking woods, dude. Alana could summon worms from the ground with
Yep.
her tone. I have great low end in these headphones, and I just could not get over how deep in my jaw I was feeling that bass line the whole time.
You know when like a dad gets out of a recliner and just hits you with the a lot of that going on. Like just guttural. And that I think that is a really good clip and speaks to where the band was at with some of their improv sections in 2016 were just like slowed down, extra texture added, like pin drop almost, where like, they kind of pull back the hood a little bit and reconstruct the song right in front of you a little bit
Yeah.
before getting right back into it. I think 2015 saw longer jams, but in 2016 was more of these just like super experimental, like multifaceted. Where 2015 was cool, but they were a little bit of a one-trick pony where they were certainly a funk band at that point.
Yeah.
This is just like label-less dance music, right?
Yep.
So
Before we move on past this, just want to show this picture because this was my only St. Louis show. There's my boy Mark right there. I thought Brad was in this picture, but he's not. But this is at the hotel right around the corner from there. We got kicked out of this hotel that night.
is it the
And
moon? What was
yes,
it called?
yeah,
Yeah.
that one. Yeah, they didn't like us over there, and for good reason. Um, but yeah, with that, my only experience at the pageant, once we got in, was pretty great. But Kate's ID they didn't believe Kate had a real ID. She was 22 at the time, and they
Yeah, they're
kept
pretty
us.
strict about
Yeah,
that. The
dude, they
moon, the
kept us.
Moonrise Hotel. Yeah.
Moonrise, that's right. They kept us outside till the opening notes of the show that night, and we ended up just going in under 21 because they like
Hmm.
section it off weird in there.
Yeah.
But once we were inside, dude, that 2013 set list, we don't have any clips from it, but one of those shows that you could put a stamp on every single song because there's no, it's pretty mailed in, but the construction of it
Yeah.
was
The
good.
the set list writing for sure.
Yeah, By the
Yeah.
Morning
At that
Sun,
point.
Monkey Music, Kaya. There's a bunch of good shit that night.
Well, I couldn't be more excited to get back to St. Louis and see some STS9 in that wonderful city. I know there's a lot of good people there who have been waiting for a long time for it. So
Oh, I'm gonna miss you guys this weekend, dude.
we'll miss you too. I'll pour one right into my mouth for you. So a Saturday takes the band up to Eau Claire, Wisconsin,
Ooh,
for the Camp Out in the Pines, where
who
they,
they hanging out with up there, Nate?
yeah, they're supporting the string cheese incident, which this is a two-night event for string cheese incident. Friday, the Del McCurry band is opening. And on Saturday, you get a 7 p.m. set, which will look like it'll be about an hour and a half set of STS9 before the string cheese incident. Um, I've logged a lot of hours at cheese shows
Yeah, yeah,
growing
same.
up and going to Electric Forest my first handful of times where they were still playing 12 hours of music there like every weekend where
Hmm.
I think at this point they're limited to 2 or 3 sets, which is still cool that they're there. But this looks like a really cool event. The grounds look really nice. Some friends here in the Chicago area that had went out for a couple night uh, event similar to what Cheese is doing that Goose did um, a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, north like it's up there. It's up by Minnesota. That's part of the reason that and not wanting to camp or sleep in a tent or my car are part of the reasons why I'm skipping this one and getting my rest to get ready for Grand Rapids on Sunday. But for anybody going, Wisconsin this time of year is fucking beautiful. Bring your bug spray for sure. I'll say that. But yeah, I mean that part of the Midwest, that part of that state, Wisconsin is one of the best summer states in the entire U.S. And this looks like a really cool event. And string cheese fans rock. Their fan base is probably
Yeah,
I'd hold them in higher regard than the actual band. The band is great. I think they have some good stuff, and I actually saw them a few months ago, and it had been a while since I'd seen them at the Salt Shed, and they're up to some kind of STS9 type stuff. They're incorporating more like modular type jams and stuff like that.
cool,
Um,
cool.
so if they're on whatever and that was a great show, right? That is one of the better cheese shows I'd seen in a while. The time before they had come to Chicago, they started the show at like 6:45 and it was over by like 9:30. So that was weird. These
My
guys are
kind of
getting
show.
old, right? Yeah, your kind of show. But yeah, cheese can get there for sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love cheese, man. I'm like you, bro. I've had some real good cheese experiences.
Oh yeah.
My first festival was Hangout. That was kind of their like comeback year, and they played a fucking barn burner of a set on the beach at Hangout. I saw them at the first lock-in. They did the Zach Brown incident, which I still hold in the highest of high musical
Yeah,
experiences.
I saw them do that at summer camp. Yeah, it was kick
Yeah,
ass. Yeah.
it's yeah, unreal, dude. Um,
Um, yeah.
yeah, they're dope, dude. I like I haven't seen them in the last few years, but every time I go see Cheese, it's a good time. And this band for a lot of the newer fans of them the people might not realize how much history this band has with Cheese.
Yeah. And who am I talking shit? I used to go to Cheese on New Year's instead of Sound Tribe and go to the other nights of Sound Tribe. And I've grown up since then, but that's kind of how big of a
In
Cheese fan
Colorado,
I
you
used to
did
be.
that?
Oh yeah, at First Bank Center,
Really?
a few years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could never do it. People try to get me to. I'm like,
So
no,
much
dude.
fun. Dude,
I'm
so
sure.
the
I have 'em on
production. Yeah.
DVD on the Tour Geeks
hmm
DVD. But
Yep.
I didn't go.
Yep. Um, but like you said, a lot of history between these two
Hmm.
bands. So being that the band STS9 has never played in the city of Eau Claire, Wisconsin, right? So we don't have a time capsule here, but we've got a time capsule of a show that went down at Horning's Hideout in 2004. And lucky you for anybody that hasn't light ears on this or even know about this yet. Um, this is regarded as not just a huge night between STS9 and String Cheese, but amongst the String Cheese fan community, I think this goes down as one of the best nights of String Cheese music out there. It's a four-set show. I mean, it's almost exhausting taking a look at this set list, but
God.
you get two extended improv slash kind of tied to song jams with the entire band of STS9. The entire band, so Murph, Phipps, Lerner, Zach, Hunter, um, and on the stage with the entire band of String Cheese Incident, right? So we're gonna play a couple clips from this. This is on archive. We'll include the link to this in the description as we always do. It's an audience recording, so you get some crowd noise in there, which I think adds to the effect a little bit.
Sure.
But it's a really good audience recording. So we're gonna start with this clip of this 18 plus minute river trance, which is at the end of the second set, featuring the entire band of String Cheese and the entire band of STS9 on stage. There's a lot of musicians on stage here.
God. Oh yeah.
Park World bugging.
God, Bill Nurshi.
Okay, Murph.
Ah. Yeah.
Pretty cool. To hear the two bands playing together, which I was curious as to like whether Michael Travis and Zach Flemming were like switching off on the same kit, and I found like a video with really poor audio quality. But just to kind of get an idea of like what was going on the stage, like Zach's full kit was on stage. So
Wow.
two full drum kits. I think Jeffrey and
And Jason.
yeah, this might have been pre Jason Hahn. Um, not sure
J-
exactly what year he joined. Um, but it was super grainy video. I couldn't tell you as much, but I was kind of checking out to see like, okay, like how many drum kits are on stage here? And they had Zach set up like stage left, right on the side of them, and it's really cool to hear them like switching gears from like full cheese gear to like
Yeah.
almost full STS9 gear to like both of them together. Um,
And how well they work together. Like I was writing down all of the personalities that intrigued me amongst this group, and
mhm.
it like and assuming Jason's on stage now you got me doubting if that's the thing, but like the way Zach and Jason work together, the way Hunter and Nershi work together, the way Kang and Murph work together, the way Fitz and Kyle work together, the way Murph and Keith work together, like these are all seemingly completely different personalities.
These were some of Jason's first shows, so yes.
Okay, cool.
Hmm. Yeah.
So you know, like particularly Hunter and Bill Nershi going back and forth, where both have a very distinct sound, and so you can hear them like listening to each other. Like our good friend Audio Angel said a few weeks ago, it's so clear in this how much they're paying attention to each other and how they respect each other as musicians.
100%. And um, one of like the Nurshi clips. I was just listening to random clips of this show, in the last few days, and like I think they were touring with it was. We'll hear a little bit of that in the next clip. Keller, STS9, Xavier Rudd, Michael Frantine, Spearhead, and Nurshi was saying at one point, he was like, "This is a cool group of musicians, man. How about we do a whole tour with these guys?" And the whole crowd's like, "Yeah." But being at Hornings too, which is a storied place, both for String Cheese and for STS9, having done
Yeah.
regen festivals, and Cheese continuing, I believe, continuing to do a yearly event out there. They might not be anymore,
I
but
don't
for
think they do anymore.
years,
I don't think
for
they do anything
years.
at Hornings anymore. Bob Hornings is kind of an asshole, as I've been told.
Yeah, well, he's got a cool group of peacocks up there.
He
Just
does.
imagine watching a peacock roll through the crowd during that jam would be pretty sick. Um, just to read through the set list for anybody who's a Cheese fan, I mean, it doesn't get much better. Set one, One Step Closer, Rum and Zook, Rhythm of the Road into 45th of November, Water, which is my favorite String Cheese song,
Yeah.
Sweet Melinda into Orion's Belt. Set two, This Must Be the Place into Desert Dawn, Joyful Sound, Miss Brown's Tea House, Boo Boo's Picnic, Dirk. It's probably second favorite
Jason.
Cheese song. And then this River Chance. Set three was a round the wheel sandwich. So round the wheel into Valley of the Jig, into a jam, into round the wheel. And then set four.
Wow. What a
Yeah,
set.
right? Set four brings us to this Ty North conducted jam, which had Scott Law on guitar, Jamie Janover on percussion, Aaron Holstein on guitar, Keller Williams, and all members of Sound Tribe Sector 9. This might have been the hardest thing for me to clip in my career with this podcast. It is a 56-minute jam. And we're gonna start with a little bit of Keller scatting to show you a little bit of this one.
This is good as fuck.
Who knew we needed Keller Williams scatting over Phipps?
This is 32 minutes into the jam, too. Oh my god. Oh. Don't you dare pause it. Oh.
It just keeps going, man.
I know.
It's a tough one to stop. There's a definite groove there, and it's very grow centric, I think. It sounds
Yeah.
like an extended grow where string cheeses and Keller are providing their unique, little spice to it for sure. But just a really cool little piece of STS9 history to share.
The
Um,
crowd is unbelievable in that.
yeah.
This is like 22 business days into this show, and 38 minutes into this jam, and you've got everything from Keller scatting to whatever we just listened to, and in the middle of that, just a huge wrestling pop out of the entire crowd, like it's the first song. Like,
Yeah. Well,
so
some
good.
call jam teases in there. So this was a Ty North conducted jam. So Ty North was the original bassist from Leftover Salmon. So some ties to Jeffrey Lerner there, and a
Ah,
guy that recorded a lot of music in studio with Keller Williams too. So lot of chemistry going on upstage,
very cool.
there. So, but let's move into the Sunday show that nobody should miss. Never miss a Sunday show. Grand Rapids, baby. Um, Grand Rapids, great little city in Michigan. A lot of great breweries. Not too far from the Chicago area. It would be about a 3 hour drive from me after I get a day of rest in on Saturday here in Chicago. Um, the venue is called the Intersection. I think they played the Intersection before. I have never been there, but from what I understand, it's going to be a pretty similar. Um, it's going to be a similar layout to the Crocodile in Seattle, kind of a smaller club, lower ceiling.
Cool.
It's gonna be a sweaty room, baby. I'm sure it'll be swampy, just like Zach likes to say. Upon further research, they have not played the Intersection, so this will be a venue debut for them too. But
Nice.
um, for our STS9 time capsule in the city of Grand Rapids, which has been a city that they played in quite a few times here. Let me pull up that. Um, just 4 times actually in Grand
Nice.
Rapids. So the Orbit Room is where they played throughout of the 4 shows, and that's where we're going to start there on Alana's first fall tour. That, folks, is the Blue Mood reprise
I
from.
remember I remember when this happened from the Orbit Room, October 12th, 2014. I wasn't at this show, but I remember when it happened. And I remember
Yeah.
seeing it on the set list and I remember listening to it. And I thought it was about the coolest fucking thing I'd ever heard in my life at the time.
Right, right.
And
Going back to
going
2014, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and going forward though, after listening to it on the podcast, still think it's about the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. Um, just, just ridiculous, dude. I wish they did this more.
Yeah, get into this mode again. They just
I,
like the
may,
the
yeah, well,
loungy, like just
into
in
this
the
mode.
pocket like a piece of fucking lint, dude. Like,
Well, I mean, even literally do more Blue Mood reprises
yeah.
because this is one of those sections that has kind of lived in all eras of STS9 going back to very early in this song's history, whether it was labeled as Blue Mood reprise or not. You can find that doo 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 part
Yeah.
all over the history of STS9, and it's got a lot of potential to be like a kind of special improv section a la Call Jam or like a Potamus, something like that, that
Hmm.
maybe isn't a fully fleshed out thought, but kind of a one of those afterthoughts that becomes the main event when they focus on it enough. Does that make sense?
100%. 100%. I mean, it's kind of like a bridge, right? A little
Yeah.
bit. But like brings them to this place. Which I mean, again, it's just like it's straight sonic time capsule. Where like this is what they sounded like in 2014, like those airy Phipps tones and very like that you can just hear the Gibson hollow body guitar and how Hunter sounds so different and
Hmm.
how Alana's kind of finding her way and Zach is very four on the floor, right?
Right.
Um, this was a really good show. You get an unquestionable opener. Only Light Remains, This Us, Instantly, Wicked Chicana, Alana's first Orbital. So this was the first Orbital
Oh, nice.
for a long time. Makes sense. The Orbit Room, right? Then you get the Blue Mood, Love Don't Terrorize, Really What? No segues in the first set. But a really strong first set. Set two, Luma Daylight into Tokyo, March into Scheme Reprise into What Is Love. Very strong segment there. Then you get Arigato into this Blue Mood reprise. So two reprises in one set. Very
Yeah.
cool. And then World Go Round and Totem. And then a double encore with Jabez and Kabuki. I've heard I was not at this show either, but Melissa Messina was, who's a friend of the program. Shout out Melissa, loyal listener.
Hmm.
We were talking about this show this past weekend, and she went as far to say like this night might have been the most fun I've had at a STS9 concert. So part of that, right, is Alana's first full tour and like vibes were high and like everything was so new and fresh. But and part of that too is, I mean, the great state of Michigan. It's great people. It's a great crowd. It's Gina's home state. It'll be good to be back in the mitten. And I just heard interesting things about this venue where it's just like in almost like a mini mall. It's almost like a storefront, but you get in there, it's almost like a full-fledged.
Cool.
Yeah. So looking at this Sunday show in Grand Rapids, I think it's got to be one that you have circled on the calendar along with, like we talked about, the 2 night run Saturday and Sunday in Seattle. I think this is going to be really special.
Hmm.
But we got one more clip here in Grand Rapids, where it's their most recent show from April 4th. April 15th, 2017 at 20 Monroe Live, which is a very cool venue. Would have liked to seen them return here, but excited to see them in a new spot too. Scotty, this is one of those shows I go back to
Yeah.
very frequently, and we're big Get Loud people on this podcast. And I remember the first battle of the Get Louds we had. This is going to be the first one I always whipped out for
Hmm.
you. So, in for all my money, this is the goat. I don't know how long. When's the last time you heard it? But excited to dive into it with you right here.
Dude, this was right around the time that I think people started getting converted on this song. It certainly wasn't the first standout version of it, but it was one of the first standout versions.
Yeah, and a lot different than how we hear it now.
Yeah,
Which is cool to like get this. It's almost like a time like piece, like it's a period piece rather,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they're figuring it out, and like it's before it's like that huge funk dance party. Like this is like unstunging
Dark.
shit. Like
Yeah,
yeah. Um and this is my preferred mode of STS9, just like dark improv, don't know where the fuck we are. Shit, if
sure.
if I didn't include the Get Loud samples at the beginning of that clip, you could have had no idea where you were
Yeah.
there, right?
This is like get loud because I'm scared.
Scream in the dark. Yeah.
Yes.
This show, we'll break it down. Is one I go back to quite a bit. So you get a common descent opener into really what, into give and take, into Unsummer Angels. What fucking like? I mean, a combination of like new and old. That doesn't get much better than that.
hmm
Um, and then you get awesome and an unquestionable. This is one of the best unquestionables for sure, too. 12 and a half minute unquestionable. I think we played a clip of it on Jim's first episode. And then Vapors into Light Remains back into Vapors.
Classic.
Yeah, waiting to
Needs
hear
to happen
that.
more. Needs to
Yep.
happen more.
Breathe in to end for a set. Holy shit. And set two, Golden Gate into STS9. They were crushing the song STS9 at this point. I mean, when don't they? But I remember 2017 having a lot of really cool versions, and this was one of them. Then you get this Get Loud into Water Song, which that might be a part of my bias with this Get Loud as well. There
hmm
should be uh,
A
there
seg right
should
here
be
in
a
front of
seg
us.
right here because they fake out Kaya. It sounded like maybe Alana accidentally started playing Kaya and then they
hmm
drop into Water Song. This is where things get really crazy in this show. And then you get a 16 plus minute rent where the band not just full band teases, the full band goes into Moonsocket like before the
Okay.
final breakdown of Rent, and then they like finish off Rent, and then you get a little bit of an unnecessary New Dawn New Day here, and then you get the full Moon Socket, 13 plus minutes Moon Socket, and a dance encore. I mean, put the fucking Dukes up. Like
Yeah.
this is one to revisit if you haven't. Again, April 15th, 2017, 20 Monroe Live, Grand Rapids, Michigan. What a night! What a night! So we're excited here, Scotty, for some STS down in the Midwest, and I'm sure you'll be living vicariously through us. You'll be there in spirit. But
Yeah, as of the recording of the show, no word on streams of any kind. And so
I wouldn't bet on it.
I wouldn't either.
We didn't discuss it. Chances we get STS9 sit in during the cheese set. I wouldn't expect it, but the
I don't
opportunity's there. Yeah,
I don't know what kind of time Cheese is on with sit-ins right now.
yeah.
I feel like those kind of situations they just depend on how good a mood both bands are in when they're around each other.
Yeah.
I think the Lettuce STS9 one was obviously pretty well thought out, and they had talked to each other before that. There's a history. You got to imagine like with
Del
every
McCurry is gonna sit in the night before.
sure,
Yeah.
and Cheese has fans just like us. I don't know if there's a podcast like us, but Cheese has plenty of annoying fans that are like, "You remember that time when you played with STS9?" Like they know how these moments are viewed, and so yeah, fuck it, why not, dude? Here's to hoping.
Here's to hoping. I'm not expecting, but the opportunity's there, and it'd be really fucking
Sure,
cool. But I think we got some predictions to make, Scotty.
we do. You
We're
gotta, you
just
gotta.
we're just 10 episodes away from crowning the first winner of the Pod Modular belt. Isn't that crazy?
I know we need to get the belt made. Jim Shepard's got a guy apparently, and we'll
Yes,
get
we
that
will.
get that going.
All
Um,
right. Ceremonials in can flip. We got heads, Quilment 6, tails, call it in the air.
Heads. Then,
You got it.
all right. So
Wait, remember the rules.
nothing human dream.
Yeah.
This is not an artifact human dream thing, but human dream obviously is going to make it heavily onto any set list of this year. So we're
Yeah.
keeping those out.
Excited
Um,
to hear my first portal, by the way.
yes,
Mhm.
definitely. Good luck with that.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Kamui.
All right. I'm going be nice. I think we're getting a be nice opener, either in St.
Okay.
Louis or in Grand Rapids.
Um, I said this the last one, and we in a text, and we didn't end up doing it. But I think we're due for a nice click laying echo.
Okay. I think they got it in Nashville. I'll
Oh,
give
did
you,
they?
yeah. You would have gotten that point, but you want I'll give you an opportunity to change your answer.
Okay, you're a generous friend.
Hmm.
Let's go. Let's do one a day.
One a day. Love
Yeah.
it. Would welcome that for sure.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go dance. Well
Okay.
overdue. Yep.
Yes.
Hmm.
Um, let's go arigato.
Arigato.
Mhm.
Good stuff. Let me actually check when the last dance was.
How many are we doing?
We're doing three.
Okay.
Last dance was in Nashville. Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna go Muir Soul. I think they gotta
Ah,
show I think they gotta show the Midwest what they've been up to with that song.
yeah, you're right. Hasn't been anywhere around there. Cool. I like that call.
All right, so we got Be Nice, Dance, Muir Soul for me.
One a
And
day,
then
Kamui, and arigato for me.
all right. So we'll have some new points on the board, hopefully. Come next week. So that's all we've got, guys. Safe travels for anybody making it out to the shows this weekend. Again, I will be in St. Louis and I will be in Grand Rapids. So come say hey if you see me. But we'll be back next week with a breakdown of these shows with some most likely boots on the ground to be announced of who that will be. But thanks for watching and listening, whether you're watching on YouTube, listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Throw us a like, throw us a subscribe, throw us a review if you're feeling nice. But much love, y'all.